Today I'm going to talk about crystal spheres, the third module for Spelljammer. Okay, so the basic story of this module, the background information, is that this, in the sphere called Great Space, on the planet Thessaly, there was a king, and the king fell under the influence of a bard who influenced things more and more until eventually he took over the kingdom and the Prince Bruin had to flee. As it turns out, the bard is secretly a vampire, and he has this plot with a special magical device to blot out the sun so that it's dark and he can move freely all the time. So, Bruin, the prince, he's a 5th level ranger, encounters the players in his special hummingbird ship. It's a 7-ton ship that's really, really small, but it can hold a crew of 10. It's got a maneuverability of class of A, which means it can turn on a dime. Super maneuverable. And he will recruit the players and insist that they travel in his ship. It's this really tiny ship. Look at the back here. So, in order to do this, they have to travel to another sphere, and along the way there are encounters they might have in this position, and they have to travel to hero space to consult a sage. Now, hero space has 9 suns, each of which is a different color, and each sun has 1 planet. And each planet is a particular alignment. Gondoran, the lawful good planet, has a white sun. Hearthguard, has a yellow sun. It's a lawful neutral planet. Darkseed, the lawful evil planet, has a blood red sun. Cumberland, the neutral good planet, has a light orange sun. Geneva, the neutral planet, has a light blue sun. Morgan's World, the neutral evil planet, has a dark blue world. Woodhaven, the chaotic good world, has a light purple world. Asylum, the chaotic neutral planet, has a gray sun. And Chaos Storm, the chaotic evil planet, has a dark green sun. But that's not really relevant because there's only one planet you need to go to, that's Cumberland. And even the lawful planets don't have any kind of organized government per se, but the whole sphere does. And so you're met by a force of ships who give you a pass to visit the planet that you're going to, which is Cumberland, the neutral good planet. And there you meet with the magistrates and the sage who tells you need to go to fairy space to get the sun seeds. Girekos is the sage that you need. Here's his cottage. Okay, so you go to fairy space. Now, fairy space is the most interesting spelljamming sphere I've ever seen. The sphere has one gigantic tree filling the whole sphere, and there are 16 fruits hanging from the tree, which are suns, and there are 8 fruits that hang from the tree, which are planets. The tree's alive. It's not a star beast. It's a live thing. And it's possible to walk from a planet onto the tree and then across the tree to another planet. There are all kinds of creatures living on the planet, and the planets are on the tree, and the planets are organized so that there's the good planets and the evil planets. The lower, closer to the roots of Vastarkin, the 4 planets with things like hydras and medusas and trolls on it. And away from the roots, the upper 4 planets have things like brownies and nymphs and satyrs and unicorns on them. And the leaves of the tree sway, blotting out one or more of the suns occasionally, giving a intermittent day and night cycle that has no regularity to it at all. So it's a really interesting, and in the crook of the tree is a city. So you have to go to that city, Armand, the capital of the city, to meet with a mage who can tell you about these sun seeds, which you have to go into the isopterite layer. Here's a house. Now here's a map of, it looks like a map of land, but it's actually all this land is inside the crook of the tree. So here's the isopterite layer. And I was playing with people who like to use figurines, so I made maps. So the isopterites are like insects that live underground, and in case underground means inside the body of the tree. There are dwarves and gnomes that dig into the tree, dig tunnels and stuff. It's gigantic tree, so big that planets are fruits of this tree. So you get the sun seeds, and then you go to Great Space, where Thessaly is. Great Space is an ordinary system with a sun. Carrington is the world closest to it. It's really hot there. It has a thin atmosphere. It's 600 degrees there. Skora is a barren wasteland. It's a place with storms and a poisonous atmosphere. Thessaly is the planet where the king of the whole sphere lives. It's a beautiful planet. Legor's world is a little bit cooler. It's also heavily civilized with 50 different human cultures on the planet. Long Point is another planet. It's not inhabited. It has volcanoes and earthquakes. Too many to be inhabited. Too many to make settlements on. And Hecht is the most beautiful planet in the system. It's mountainous planet. It's lightly inhabited. The most distant planet, Borat, is barren Arctic planet. So, here's a nice picture of Hecht. Long Point. Okay, so when you get to Gray Space, you discover that the vampire's already put his plan in motion and the system is dark. So you have to defeat the vampire, and in order to do that, you have to travel to his sphere. Here's a picture of the palace. His sphere is called Dark Space. And Dark Space is a sphere with no sun and no living things at all, only undead. You better have a cleric. Here's floor plan for the Tower of Night. And here's a picture of the Tower of Night where the vampire has his headquarters, his lab, and his concentration camp for the human food. That is the humans who are food. Okay, so if you defeat the vampire, then the prince can go back and complete the railroad, and everything's good. There are some new monsters. The Comet Steed. Here's the Isoterites that dig the tunnels. There's a Pyro Serpent. And they reprint the vampire entry in case you don't know what a vampire is. And here's the floor plan of the castle. That's there. Okay. So there you have it. Crystal Spheres. The third module. I never actually ran this one. I prepared to run it, but I never actually did.